A special session is now underway. Lawmakers have returned to the state capitol for a special session as a fight over voting districts heats up.
This was just a couple hours ago inside the Alabama State House in Montgomery, where lawmakers gavelled in and not long after ended the day. They're meeting for a special session called by the governor last week. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Guy Rawlings.
And I'm Carla Wade. In this session, the governor wants lawmakers to take up legislation that would allow for a special primary election if district voting lines, congressional and state senate races are changed. Those races are on the ballot this year.
Currently, the district maps can't change until 2030, but that could go out the window at the U.S. Supreme Court that takes up the state's case. House Bill 1 had its first reading today. The bill, if passed, would allow for a special primary election on 2 conditions. If a federal court issues an order or vacates the injunction allowing lawmakers to use previously enacted congressional redistricting maps for this year's election, and the court ruling happens when it's too late to be accommodated during the normal primary election schedule.
And is held in a way that won't affect the general election in November. And tonight we have team coverage on the movements from Montgomery and in a special town hall in central Alabama where the redistricting fight will likely be a topic of discussion.
Let's first get out to our state's capital where WVTM 13's Lisa Crane joins us live on day 1 of what the governor expects will be a 5-day special session. What's the response been like there, Lisa?
Well, it was a massive response right here on the steps of the State House just a couple of hours ago, and that is when probably a couple of hundred people were here. They were here to protest. They were here with signs and very loud voices. The protesters say they will not be silent. They are equating the fight ahead to that of the foot soldiers of the 60s. They say they will fight this with their voices, but also with money, and a lot of it. They believe the movement is going to be a fundraiser as well. To fight this in the courts, are going to take hundreds of thousands of dollars. We spoke to 2 state representatives, one from each side of the aisle, who have very differing views on HB 1.
It's absolutely a strategic attempt to dilute the voices and votes of African Americans by spreading them out so thin that their voices don't matter anymore. And so it would be like having voters just literally crying in the wind without the ability to have for their voices and their votes to have a real impact.
I don't see it that way. I mean, I don't know that all Democrats are black voters. Certainly the way that the courts set it up, it was not supposed to be racially gerrymandered. Well, it was. They compacted all the African Americans in those districts, and not only that, but it's supposed to be communities for likeness. It was not.
Now, Democratic senators also filed SB 2 and SB 3 today. This is basically an effort to keep the voting districts in the way they are right now. Day 2 of that session begins tomorrow morning. Now, joining me live, Aaron Llewellyn, WVTM 13's Aaron Llewellyn. And Aaron is at a town hall meeting there. Are they going to be talking about this redistricting as well?
Yeah, Lisa, earlier today I reached out to Congresswoman Terry Sewell's office to confirm whether or not they were going to be talking about this legal battle over these congressional maps, and her staffer did tell me that it's expected to be a large topic of conversation tonight. Now, we know that there are some other things that they're going to be talking about as well, like access to health care and ICE budgets, but I want to give you a live look inside the Beltwell auditorium right now. As you can see behind me, there are plenty of people who are packed the auditorium right now, and people are still coming in for this conversation with Senator Cory Booker out of New Jersey. But we do know that Mayor Randall Woodfin is going to be here as well. Congresswoman Sewell is expected to be here, and former Senator Doug Jones are all expected to be here tonight for this discussion. Now, Senator Cory Booker was supposed to be here earlier this year, but he had to cancel his trip to Birmingham because he had to take care of a vote back in Washington, D.C. So it is never too late. He is here tonight in a time that is so extremely important, as this legal battle over these congressional maps is so important right now to figure out what is going to happen with these primary elections that are just days away. So we are expecting for that to be a topic of conversation tonight. But again, people are still packing the Beltwell auditorium. So we are going to come back here live at 10 o'clock to bring you all the action from inside of this powerful town hall that we are expecting. But for now, we are live here in Birmingham. Aaron Llewellyn, WVTM 13. Lisa, back to you.
All right, Aaron, thank you very much. You know, what's happening in Alabama now was all sparked from the High Court's ruling in Louisiana. So let's go back now and take a look at that from 2023. What you should be seeing right now on your screen are the congressional districts right now. Now, we voted in these districts for the first time in 2024 after a federal judge selected them. That came about because the state had to redraw its congressional map after the Supreme Court ruled it was intentionally drawn to dilute black voting power. In 2023, the High Court sided with a lower court decision that found an Alabama congressional map was likely in violation of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Our political analyst explains the difference between Alabama's case and Louisiana's.
The Allen v. Milligan case actually protected making sure that racially minority votes would be represented within the congressional district. So it created the congressional district that Representative Shamari Figures is currently holding. This Louisiana case made it so that race didn't need to be a factor. It didn't need to be a protected factor when drawing the boundaries for the districts.
Now, lawmakers right now cannot redraw the maps until after the census in 2030. Grayson says the only way they could is if the U.S. Supreme Court takes up the state's emergency request and rules in favor of the Republican Party. Now, lawmakers expected to return and reconvene on this special session in the morning. Live in Montgomery, Lisa Crane, WVTM 13.
Lisa, thanks. We will follow this special session throughout the week. Online, we'll continue to update one article with all the latest. You can find it on WVTM13.com.